National Fire Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Size Up by National Fire Radio, where what you do off the job matters. And so this is going to be episode 87, I believe. I don't have it written down in front of me, and my guest today has been on, we actually recorded an episode of his podcast in 2018 today. So yeah, whatever. Ryan Pennington's my guest. He's wearing pink cat earphones, and I'm dying here. But Ryan and I have been recording together since, well, definitely 2018, but I guess maybe 2016. You tell me, Ryan. When did you start Jump Seat Radio, or whatever you wanted to call it then, or however it was?
Yeah, so Jump Seat Radio started in 2014. I think you and I met in Baltimore shortly thereafter, maybe. So
Sure. Sure. Yes.
It's been a wild ride. You and I have done multiple podcasts. I've been to your house, met Clarice. We've done it in the middle of a cornfield out in Amboy, Illinois. So
it was today, 2018. Today we were in Amboy, Illinois with Mr. Nick Dingus there, our good buddy, and you didn't have enough microphones, so Nick and I shared.
Sharing is caring. So it was awesome that it was pretty cool, though, because you and I got to stay in the house out on the farm, and we got to wake up to the cows mooing. I know that's probably a new experience for you. It's just like a Tuesday for me a lot of times.
And a half. You were at my house on my birthday, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Around my 40th birthday. I don't know if it was 40 or not, but it was around there. Anyway,
You're
Ryan
old.
and I have been friends for a long time. It's an easy way to explain this. And we've been talking about, just doing an episode like this, and we both were free today. So it was like, hey, let's go. And I think... So let's jump a little even back further, Ryan, because a lot of the people that listen to this show are not firefighters. Don't ask me why, or not involved in the emergency services. I know some came through my life through the fitness world, and then I get comments from, I don't even know, like it's like people Google a podcast to listen to and I appear type of a thing. So let's go with a little bit of background on Ryan for everybody, because you've been a little quieter in the recent days anyway. So let's get the new generation to know Ryan Pennington.
All right. So the new generation is Ryan Pennington is a fire captain paramedic from Charleston, West Virginia. I've been in the fire service for 30 years now. This is my 30th year. So I'm getting a little long in the tooth. And so I've been a career firefighter now for 23 years, spanning between the Nitro, West Virginia Fire Department, which is 2 guys in a fire truck, to now I'm a captain on engine company number 8, Dogtown, the west side of Charleston. And along the way in 2009, I was getting a little bored because I was always chasing that dream of becoming a firefighter paramedic. And I was chasing the dream of this, that, and I got a little bored. And my mentor, Chief Gasway, met me in Charleston for an unrelated topic. And he said, here's some free tickets to go to Firehouse Expo, Baltimore. And that was my first time seeing that the fire service is a huge network of people, whether it's New York City, New Jersey, California, Florida. And that's where I came up with the idea of, man, all these classes around here are leadership and tactics and officer. Like, where is the view from the jump seat? And that is what started my journey into this digital platform world of expressing the views and opinions of the backwards riding street level firefighter. So Views from the Jump Seat launched in 2009. We had a podcast of about 100 and I don't know how episodes. It went all the way up to 21, right about the pandemic. So maybe 2020. And then I decided to shut it down and focus on the most important thing at the time, which was being a fire captain during the pandemic, because there was so much overtime opportunities to help build my pension. But at the same time, we were so short-staffed. So for the last 4 years, I've basically lived in the firehouses, all of B shift and all of C shift. And now I've got that all locked down. I've got my pension level set. I'm still serving as the captain of engine company number 8. I've got some great guys. I was going to FaceTime you yesterday. They made me vomit once again during the workouts. I can't stand them making me do that, but whatever. And so I'm next up on the battalion chief's list. Should make battalion chief before I retire. And the countdown is on. So the countdown to leaving this service to start with the next life is gone in 2 years, 4 months, 1 week, 3 days, 22 hours, and 54 minutes. It's been a
But who's
great
counting?
ride, and I'm looking forward to the afterlife.
There's so much to unpack there, Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And along the way, we started a fire glove business with a Vanguard safety wear. So I have a hard time setting still. How about that?
You don't say. I know that
Mm.
about you, Ryan, and I feel like that's a lot of us, right? Because now
Mm-hmm.
you're talking, Firehouse Expo 2009. I was at Firehouse Expo, got 99. I feel like, right? Because it was when I went there when I
Right.
was a volley for sure. So it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. But over your span, you've done so many different things. And I feel like I've done so many different things. And so many people we know that are involved in this do so many different things. And I think a lot of it is like what you said, what you discovered there in 2009 was you want to just do stuff. You don't really know what it is, but you want to do something, right? Or some people do. I shouldn't say that. Some people know exactly what they want to do and they go right after it. And whether they succeed or fail, that's what they do. But I feel like I'm more of you where I'm like, I want to try this. I want to try that. I just want to see what's out there, right?
Well, the basic thing about it is ultimately we have a full-time job.
Yes.
Ultimately, we do have a full-time job that provides for our families and provides insurance and healthcare and all the responsible things to do. But it also allows us to explore other things because we chose a profession where we only work 10 days a month and you work less than I do. So you got more time than I do. And we're also a little bit of ADHD because we're like, we see a nice shiny toy over there and like, ooh, let's try that. And along the way, it allows you to dip and dive into different genres, different areas. So, I mean, I think that's what's the benefit of the fire and EMS service is we don't make a whole lot of money, but we have a lot of opportunity with time off.
That's for sure. And I know just in my own department and my own like ride through this whole thing. I mean, look, man, I know people that do it all type of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
because it's what interests them, like whether you want to be an exterminator, whether you want to be a photographer, whether
Right.
you want to be, you have this opportunity. And I think the time definitely helps, right? The time that we have that we're not at work, for lack of a
Right.
better, I don't know what the word is, because when you do the 9 to 5 thing, you have your 9 to 5. By the time you get home, you have whatever time you have with your family and your home life, and then you have your weekends. But we all know how the weekends go, where we do
Right.
have these Tuesdays off, or I don't even know what day is today.
I
Today's
don't know.
Thursday.
I have no
Thursday.
idea.
Have
That's
parent
the
teacher
bed.
parent teacher conference tonight. Tonight's there, or back to school night tonight.
Well, and we've also changed because it used to be all the firefighters would have their pickup trucks with their ladders and their
True.
siding and their pipe wrenches, but now it seems like we've got a digital world and we're not quite the tradesmen as we used to be or tradespeople that we used to be. So now we're more of a digital content or an influencer or whatever. You and I just like talking to people. I think that's been our benefit. I mean, some days I wish I could go fix somebody's toilet and making a couple hundred extra bucks in it because I can't really go tell them, hey, I'll wear my pink earphones for you and talk to you today and make some extra money. But it seems like we've kind of graduated and and then the thing about it is we've also developed some skills. I mean, at one point in time, you were a podcast guest. Now you're a podcast host and a pretty daggone good one, if you might say.
Oh,
So,
thank you, friend. But no,
yeah,
right, that development of skills too. Like, I mean, I still say I don't. Like, even we were playing with our audio settings before,
right.
and somehow you found one that sounded amazing. I'm like, how did you do that? I don't know how to do that over here with my cool stuff. But it's this learning process, and I think that goes along with the fire service too. That you're continually learning, right?
Right.
Everything is updating. I mean, the fire we fought when we were both rookie firefighters is not the fire we're fighting now. It could be in the same house. It's still not the same fire because the contents
Right.
have changed. The amount of people have changed. The way they live has changed. It's just all these
Right.
different things. But I always like learning new things. And I think that was part of why I got into the 8 million different things I've been into.
Yeah, and to think about it, it gives you perspective too. I think that's something that hammers home. We can all be frustrated about the Chiefs doing, the Chiefs not doing, the assistant Chiefs doing this, the training divisions doing that. But you and I have got perspective to go to the Dix Hills Fire Department on Long Island or visit San Diego Station 1 and realize we're the same circus, just a bunch of different clowns. And when you go back, you have a lot more appreciation for what you do have. I visit a lot of fire departments, Corner Brook, Newfoundland. And it's like, man, they're struggling to keep their trucks on the road. And here I go back to my $1.2 million Pierce Aero XT. And I'm like, you know what? It definitely gives you perspective that what you do have is pretty daggone good because there's a lot of firefighters that have a lot worse than we do.
Oh my God. When you get out there, I say that to people. I mean, especially even just guys in my own department. I'm like, look, man, you got to get out there and see this.
Oh.
Like, look, we are far from perfect, right? Anyone is far
Mm-mm.
from perfect because you'll have people. I think this comes with time on the job, though, because I'm in my 20th year now, and people are like, why aren't you more fired up about this? And I'm like, why? What is me being fired up about this particular subject going to change?
Right.
This is what we have to deal with, and we have to work to make it better. I'm not saying I don't get fired up because I still can very easily fly off the handle if I need to.
Right.
But there's just so many different things with that perspective that come over time. And look, to the young jump seat riders like you've always spoken to there, stealing your line, like you don't understand what we're talking about because we didn't understand what we're talking about then, right?
Well, it's so funny though, because I've got a young jump seat guy who's really smart, who's really into it. And he sounds like you and I probably used to. And it was like, if you would spend half this time about trying to solve the world's problems and your opinions on working on your fitness, I'm not saying he's the most fit person in the world, but we can all be more fit, your skill levels and what you can contribute to this issue, you would be a lot happier. You would have a lot more productivity, and you might actually save someone's life because you're more prepared. And I talk about this even outside the fire world. And one of these days, I might get back out on the road and start teaching again. And I always kept this little book. And one of these days, I'm going to take that little book and I'm going to publish it. And it was Ryan's Book of Happiness. What makes me happy? What makes me sad? What makes me mad? And it was like, if you focus in on the things that you can control, and I called it being aggressively positive. And if you're aggressively positive in your firehouse, in your house, with your kids, in your 9 to 5, man, you could change the world just by focusing on the things you can control. And that's me.
I think we've talked about this concept of aggressively positive before. If you search our library of
History.
podcasts together,
Yeah.
I've always loved that term, right? Because when we think about the fire service and we think about masculinity, however that's changed, but right,
well, I mean,
aggressive.
We've lost the masculinity part.
Yeah, you're definitely wearing pink furry cat headphones right now. They sound great though. I mean, do I sound great in them? They look great.
Oh yeah. So for everyone's listening, not to get off subject because I'm really bad about it, but the Jump Seat Studios was transformed into Allison's gaming world. So as you can see, there's bunny ears back here with the cat ears here. So she's actually really good at it, though. She's actually a really good gamer.
My kids probably know her. I bet if I asked my kids, they may watch her because these are things I don't understand, right? Like you're watching someone play a video game, but they're totally into.
She pulled up her TikTok the other day. She's got 100,000 followers. I said, "Excuse me." 100,000 people watch you play video games.
Next job, you should just be her manager, right? Like that's what when
deal.
people ask me what I want to do, I'm going to be Finn and Declan. It's probably not even their manager because at this the trajectory I feel like they're in, I would be a subpar at that. I think I'm just going to be the driver. Like I am the driver now. I'm the Uber driver, but I think like the real driver, like we'll have an Escalade, you know.
We're getting way off topic again, but I gotta tell you my driver story.
Go ahead.
You ready for it now?
Yeah, we can go back to aggressively positive. That's the fun part of this. We can do whatever we want.
All right, hang on. The dog's barking upstairs. So set the stage, right? So talking about a driver. We're in London, England. I'm sorry, we're in Edinburgh, Scotland, coming home. Everybody has to get
Ryan.
the same country, different parts of it. Anyway.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. So we're in Edinburgh and the flight crew shows up late. Not happy about it. Everybody has to get back to work because my wife is a hospital administrator. Big. So we get to London, we miss our flight. So talk about the driver. 4:00 in the morning, we've got to figure out flights to get home because we have to get home. They were going to fly us into Kennedy, but out of LaGuardia, right?
Yeah. So for the not New York folks, two different airports within probably, I'm just going to say 10 miles line of sight to each other, but could take you up to 3 hours to get back and forth here in the New York area.
Right. So I've got this problem to solve, right? So I call my bud. I got this guy. It's got this guy, right? I'm like, look, dude, I've got to go from Kennedy to LaGuardia in 45 minutes and get through security. Can you help a brother out? My wife's like, just use Uber. I'm like, no, you can't use Uber. It'll take 45 minutes to get to the Uber. So he calls his guy who's got this guy, shows up in a long blacked out Suburban, black suit, black tie, black sports jacket, black shoes, black with a flashlight, gets us from Kennedy to LaGuardia, normally 45 minutes, in 18 minutes. We had enough time to get coffee before we got on the airplane. So you talk about a driving experience, going Mach 12 through Queens to get over to LaGuardia, and it all becomes back to the people that I've met through the fire service. They're like, it blows their mind. It's like, how did you call somebody at 4:00 in the morning and have an arrangement for a ride in New York, in Queens, and you're a West Virginia hillbilly? But it all circles back to what we're talking about, is the experiences and people that you and I have met is just absolutely invaluable to me.
Well, I think too, it also goes back to the initial talk of this, that aggressively positive, right? Because those people pick up the phone because you're aggressively positive, let's say, right? You're not, I tell people this all the time. If I leave you a voicemail, it means there's something wrong. You know what I like? Because I'll call you and just, if you don't pick up, I hang up because I'm calling you for whatever. But if I'm like, oh my God, I need gloves tomorrow.
Right.
And I need it overnight. I'm leaving Ryan a message and being like, bro, call me back. I need something. I need help now. Right.
Right.
But it's that aggressively positiveness that allows that person to pick up the phone. Right. That is something, again, we both learned along the way, because listen, we both made mistakes along the way as well. And I think what a lot of people don't know about us, they've heard us talk on podcasts, but we actually are friends outside of this whole
thing.
Not like BFFs, like, hey, let's call every day and text, and here's my selfie and GIF or whatever. But we've been friendly enough to keep doing this conversation. And I think that aggressively positive attitude that you told me about, I didn't even know I had at the time. And I still don't know that I have it, but I feel like that's the goal to go after, right? Because that word aggressive can mean so many different things, but when you swing it with positive, that's how I want to be in life.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep the aggressively positive mantra going in your firehouse when you're not the leader of the firehouse too. So yeah, so like when that young jump seat rider was talking the other day, it's like what you're doing is you're just feeding the animal. You're feeding the negativity beast. Somebody ought to write that down. That's pretty good stuff right there. Don't feed that negativity beast. And if you can't, I mean, it all comes back to, if you can't say something nice, just keep your mouth shut. Just go do some work. And I'll give you something I've been trying. And it's like, I want to get back into daily skills and drills. Problem is my guys are really, really good. And I got another story. I got this guy's got this story, right?
We have a lot of stories.
We do. Cause yesterday it's like, we had a fire the other day, and you and I have talked about this. They sent the engine company to the roof. I'm like, hello, engine.
We don't have a saw.
Squirt. Oh, well, no, we have some. Anyway.
Oh, you have saws? We don't have saws on our engine. We've been called mutual aid to another town for an engine. Right. Get there and they're like, we want you to cut the roof. And the engine guys are like, Dad, you called it wrong. You need to call the truck. Like, we bring the water, they bring the saws and the ladder. Like, they can do it. Everybody's trained to do it, but it's really interesting when you go, can we borrow your saw? And they're like, what do you mean? We don't have one. Like, we don't carry saws on our engines here.
But my performance wasn't up to par. I just didn't perform like I wanted to. And a lot of it came to, I changed the way I wear my thermal imaging camera and flashlight, because it kind of throws you off. So I've spent the last 3 shifts in my gear with the tick, with my flashlight. And like yesterday, it's like, I never said a word. I just went and put my gear on. And the guys are like, why is the captain putting his gear on? I'm like, well, I'm going downstairs to Blue Door. And then and all of a sudden, here they come. Now, I didn't say a word. Didn't say, go put your gear on. Then all of them came down there. And it's like, while we're doing there, let me do some sets and rep with Blue Door. Let's go through a ladder, which I'm not good at. Let's make a stretch. And what I realized was, by not saying nothing, not commanding nothing, we did an hour's worth of skills and drills and had fun with it. Well, I've also been practicing masking up with my gloves on, because I didn't do it very good. All of a sudden they realized the captain's not only doing it, he's also the fastest. So we've also raised the bar. But what I realized, making this full circle, is they did the stretch perfect. They did the ladder perfect. They did the knot perfect. They did the face piece perfect. It's like, I'm really going to start thinking outside the box, because these guys really are that good.
I think that's a good part when we talk about like the fire service and drills and things. Like, people will ask me like, well, what are we gonna do today, Cap? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do?
Right.
Like, what I can come up with 8 million different things, and I have, but it's not, this is you. You know, it's the same when we were really into working out on my shift for a long time there. And it was like, Pip, what's the workout today? And I'm like,
you choose it.
What don't you want to do? And they're like, push-ups. And I'm like, cool, we're going to do push-ups. So they quickly realized that was a bad question, right? Like, don't say that. But I'm like, what do you what do you want to do? Let's put something together and we can make it happen, because it's so much better when it's an us thing, not like a me thing, an us thing, where, what do you want to work on today? You can always go back like, oh, we had an issue masking up at the last fire. Let's work
Right.
on that today. That's for sure. That's just what you do. But when you're in that rut, or you do have that crew that is on point, hey, what do you guys want to do? What can we do that's better?
Well, I asked them yesterday, and I'm gonna have to start throwing some curveballs at these guys. I mean, now I do rotate because our ambulance crews do rotate, and the skills of crew A might not be as good as skills of crew B. They're going to be because I'm familiar with them, but alternating that. But I think we overcomplicate things.
100%.
We don't need a big training tower. We don't need this. I mean, they kicked my butt, and we never moved more than 10 feet away from the bay. So I don't know. It all comes down to personal accountability, personal responsibility, fighting away that what did I call it? The negativity
beast.
The negativity beast. Get it out here. And I tell you what, now we were lathered by the time we got done drilling. Oh yeah, now by the way, we're going to go climb stairs. That's when they made me puke. They kept climbing, so we're good. We had such a good time doing it. It really was. I mean, it was just. I hate to say a man moment because it was like, like the old Tim, the Tool Time Tim stuff, but it was just such a good time doing it.
Such a throwback, right?
Yeah,
But that's it, right? But that could be the negativity beast that you're fighting, because it's really easy to be like, oh, let's not do that today. Or you hear from another shift, oh, they're those guys trying to be better than everyone else or whatever. That's the negativity beast that you're fighting back. But by doing it, it just goes away. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not there.
Don't make no mistakes. We're here to be number one. I tell them all the time, listen, I'm not pulling any punch. No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious as a heart attack. No, because we've got an engine that's up our butt so fast. We have to be on point. So I've got this new firefighter. He's like, well, I prefer to do it like this. Hey, bud, do it however you want to. All I care about is that coupling and the nozzle at the door. I will tell you, if you set that nozzle down to go do what your opinion is, you're going to come back and it's not going to be there. What do you mean it ain't going to be there? The other engine will take your nozzle. That's if I don't take it.
And that's a life lesson learned for someone, right? That they
Correct.
have to. You're not going to believe that till you learn it yourself. And that goes for everything, not just in firefighting. But like, hey, you want to try this way? Cool, go ahead. Let's see how it works out.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah, I play that game a lot where I'm like, cool, let's see how that works out. And
but that comes back to the wisdom. And my wife Heather and I had this conversation. Why does it take so many years of age to catch wisdom? And listen, it sucks because I was not wise. I was mouthy. I was opinionated, and I was just this young punk. And now it's like I sit back and it's like, even transitioning to leadership of a station, let them have their opinions. Let them have their little great moments. As long as you're performing and doing things the right way, you can be that way. But we are not going to be that way. Now, I have the luxury of having a driver that's the funniest little fella. And I mean, he's kind of like that typical driver, kind of waddle around, but he's dependable, he's positive, and he's always there for us.
And that's the key, right? Those are like the three things that no one wants to talk about.
No, and it's like they're like, well, he's that and that. I tell you what he is he's the glue to the foundation, because he gets me and how I am, which I'm not allowed to have more than 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then he gets the other guys and how he's kind of like the go-between that kind of melds our group. And I'm telling you, I've had 3 changes of crews now since my time going to Dogtown number 8. I came in with some salty guys. All of them got promoted. All of them are doing great. I came in with another group. We mixed an old guy, young guy, and a medium guy. I'll call him a medium guy because he's not quite that old or young, right? They got promoted and left. And now I'm on my 3rd round. And I tell you what, I hate the word culture. I like the word behaviors and environment. Our environment is very positive, very strong. And I'm proud to say that it's not all of me. It's more them than me. I'm in bed at 8 o'clock. What are you talking about?
But it's because they want to do it that way, because they've seen it done that way before, and they understand that culture, or that whatever you want to call it, you know, into it, that this is what we do here and this is why we do it. I think a big part of it is explaining the why we do it, you know, and you're in a position like I'm in right now, where you do ride up as in your department of battalion and my department of deputy. And, you know, I've been still doing it a lot more than I would prefer at the moment. I'm almost going to get back to the ladder again. Right. But I feel like I've tried to explain to everyone below me, not my problems, because, hey, this is a job I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. But how it all works so they see it from my perspective a little bit more and maybe understand it. Things I didn't understand before.
It's hard to see up. It's hard to see perspective up. We've got 2020 hindsight vision, but it's hard to see up until you're put in that position. I got to give a huge shout out to my new battalion chief. It's a guy that I've known since we were 18 years old, and I was really worried about him coming in for this, and this. Not only has he met my expectations, he's exceeded my expectations, both on the fire ground, and he was down there eating breakfast with us last shift, and he's like, "What are you all doing at 11 o'clock?" It's like 11 o'clock. We're going to do the rookie workout, but we all do it. And he's like, "I'll be back at 11. Well, he shows up at 11 and wipes the floor with me as I'm out puking. He's 120 flights in. And I'm like, you can't. And somebody along the way said it's your leadership capital. I don't know who. I don't know want to quote that service. Whoever did that quote, their leadership cap. He just earned a whole lot of leadership capital with my guys because he came down there and showed them that I'm not above you. I'm going to do the work. I can do the work, and he did a lot better than I did. But I just think that that's part of that whole. And I'm going to be curious. And the reason I say that is I'm going to be curious if I do or when I do get promoted, can I take that Engine 8's camaraderie and I hate to say culture, behaviors, and spread that amongst 3 to 8 stations?
So hard, right?
Well,
Because
is it?
but I think you understand it, that so you have a plan, right?
I don't know if I have a plan.
You have an idea. Let's go with this one because it's not a plan, because you have to then learn what those 3 to 4 other stations
what makes them tick.
are
Correct.
already like, and then how you're going to implement, because you can't take, I can't take what we do on the 2nd platoon and bring it to the 4th platoon. It's impossible.
Nope. Right.
I can maybe take some of the things we do on the 2nd platoon if I was to go there and try to bring it to there and see what works and what doesn't. And that's that next step up in leadership, that when you start to do it in any leadership role, you have to figure out what's going on and how you're going to implement these changes. The same in business.
It's so funny that you say that because, believe it or not, I've actually opened the computer. I've actually started putting words to paper again. I'm a horrible grammatically incorrect person. I can't spell SPELL anyway. So in the one first
correct, you have autocorrect on, right? Do I need to tell you about autocorrect because it's my favorite thing?
Grammarly is my best thing. But anyway, so in one of the first things I wanted to share was my experience as a new officer. And I was overzealous. I was too ambitious. I was too rambunctious. And the thing about it is I think you can take leadership classes, but until you're face down in the mud doing the work, I don't think you can ever really learn to be a true leader of men and women until you're actually in the arena. You might find some concepts, but you're not
have to
leading.
Fall on your face is what you really have to do. Like, and yet more than once, and you have to realize that you fell on your face, right? I think a lot of our bad leaders out there and whatever we're talking about, they never fail. They're always the best. They're always winning. It's always someone else's fault or something else's fault. I forgot my glove. I forgot my hood. My pack failed. My whatever you want to think of.
I take Jocko and the Jocko's mentality to heart. There is no bad teams. It's just a bad leader.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, at first I was like, man, that's awful arrogant. No, it's really not. If you're building your team, ultimately I'm responsible for it.
And it's knowing your team too, right? And knowing that, if you have a plan A may not work because someone's not there that day. So you need to have plan B. What happens in a football game if you're a huge run team and the running back gets hurt in the second quarter? Well, now you're a passing team because that's what you have to be. You have to know those plans and know when to change and when to implement them. And that goes back to another good part of being a good leader. When am I going to pivot? I've watched you pivot a lot of times.
100
I've
times.
pivoted just as many times, let's say, right? And right, wrong, or indifferent, it's what we felt like we had to do at the time. And I guess it's worked out. I feel like it's worked out for both of us at this point. We're still here, right?
I'm sorry. It was my fault. It won't happen again. Those are the keys to a successful marriage and a fire service career. I'm sorry. My fault won't happen again. Right? And be sincere when you say it. Hey, listen, I made some bad decisions when I went to the number 7 engine, but at the time I felt like I needed to do this because this, and this. When I went to number 8 engine, I adjusted. Those guys weren't going to put up with the engine 7, Captain Ryan. As a matter of fact, when one of them left, he gave me the best compliment in the world. He was like, "Thank you for coming in, supporting the mission, trusting my decisions and values, and supporting it and helping get me promoted." That is more valuable to me than all the gold in the world, because I'm telling you, Pip, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum now. My goals in this sphere are done. I've met them all. I've been at FDIC. I've been at Firehouse Expo. I've been to San Diego. I've been to Seward, Alaska. I've been to Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland, teaching and sharing my experiences. My success is moving forward from this point is, how do I get the people around me to be successful? Period.
And that's hard, right? That's really, really hard because they have to want it too. And as much as you may think people want that or want what's filled your cup, right? Or
Right.
you'd be really good at this, because we see people that are really good at things, and we're like, you should do it this way, you should do it that way. Doesn't mean it's going to work, and doesn't mean it's for them. And that could hurt even more, because you feel like you failed yourself, you failed them in trying to prepare them for that next step, right? So that's
Right.
been something else I found over time too, that like you can help other people, but you can only go so far with that help.
Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it. But at the same time, it's
So
like
many puns here.
yeah.
or quotes. I don't know. Are they puns or the quotes, whatever they are.
Hey, I want to see the title for this podcast, Battling the Negativity Beast. I like that a lot. Anyway, but really? Sharing in their success.
Like, this isn't like Game of Thrones here. Like, we're just having a podcast, man.
Yeah, but the thing about it is seeing those people succeed is where it's at. I mean, it really happens. Oh, it really is. I mean, to see someone that I helped raise, I'm not saying I did anything for them, because we really don't. You do it for yourself, but you create the environment for their success, is what I like to say. It's like, hey, I'm trying to create an environment for your success. Nobody's to credit for my success except for me and Heather. I mean, honestly, Chief Gasaway has given me, ad nauseum amount of advice. He didn't do the work. Ryan did. I mean, do I give him credit?
Too?
Like, it is.
You have to do the work, no matter what. You have to.
Period.
Right. Like.
Period. I mean, there is no ifs. I mean, he laid out this detailed map how Ryan, the once used car, I was a new car salesman, but anyway, became this firefighter, paramedic,
you were
author.
Really a car salesman?
Oh, well, my whole family was car salesmen. Oh yeah,
really? All this time, I did not know that.
Yep, I was really bad at it.
Really, you have the gift of gab, though, which like.
Yep.
Tracy really says to me that when I retire, I should go into real estate because I can talk to anybody. And I'm like, no, I don't want to sell houses.
I don't like dealing with people's money. I don't like dealing with people's money.
I could see it that way, of being like, you're spending way too much money. And
people suck at managing money. You don't even want to get me started on this road. We found Dave Ramsey during my experience in overtime. And I'm like, well, I'm making all this money right now as I build my pension. Let's go ahead and pay the house off. You mean I can pay the house off? And then all of a sudden, fast forward, we wake up, we owe nobody nothing.
Yeah.
I owe no cars, no student loans. And it's like, oh my God, you want to talk about a level of freedom? Oh my gosh. People are like, how do you afford to go to Florida 8 times a year? Well, when you don't give your money to banks, you can do a lot more things. And I don't think I could ever express in words the feeling that I don't owe nobody. If I quit work right now, it don't matter. I don't owe nobody nothing.
I'm happy I only have one car payment and I have 2 cars. You know what I mean? I don't want another car payment. Like, I'm okay driving the 2 that we have and 1 car payment for us, and we're good right now. You know, like that's a good feeling.
This house I'm setting in, the bank don't own it. Ryan does. And I don't think I could have ever, if I could go back in time, let's say 10 years from now, I'd be like, get out of debt. That would be the number one thing I do. Well, outside of get fit and take your health more seriously, but we'll talk about that on a different podcast. But the feeling of relief that you have, that you're not missing bills and have to owe this, it is insane how nice it is.
It's very nice. I was not financially responsible young man, let's call myself.
None of us
were. Luckily Tracy came along in my life and was like, if we're doing this thing together, this is how we're doing it.
Which blows my mind, because these kids that won't combine their finances when they're married, are you kidding me?
Yeah, we didn't at first, right? And someone told me, like, look, when you have kids, it's going to have to happen. There's just no way you're going to keep going. And they were 100% right. I think we actually did it right before Finn was born. But again, we didn't have much, I guess is a good way to put it at the time. Like,
none of us did.
Whereas now, though, to say like I couldn't even tell you what we have and don't have. That's Tracy's job. Like,
Yeah, but the thing about that is you made a plan, and even Dave Ramsey says your income is your best debt solution product. If you increase your income, you increase your without increasing debt, it works out. And I don't understand why. Listen, I want a new truck so bad I could spit, and they got a brand new Tacoma TRD Pro, the same color I want. I drive past it on the way home. And I'm like, man, I tell you what, I'd look good in that truck, even with my pink earphones on. But it's like, it's so not worth it.
no, it really, and again, maybe it comes with experience or whatever, life in
There's
general, but just the price, right? You know that truck.
$65,000.
What would you have paid for it? Now I want to ask because I know. Look,
Well,
I'm just assuming, like, right? But like, I look at so here. I'll lay it out there. Tracy drives a BMW, right?
right?
We pulled into the gas station a few months ago, and there was a killer Wrangler, 4-door lifted, like the ride that we all want. Finn's like, man, you should have got that, and I'm like, well, we could have got that, and he's like, why didn't you? For and again, anybody new tuning in, Finn is 14 years old, so
right.
But Dad still wants that Wrangler too. And I'm like, because that Wrangler costs the same, if not more, than this BMW you're sitting in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't bring myself to pay that much, you know? And for that Tacoma, it could be the same thing, right? Where you just can't bring yourself to pay that much when you know 6 years ago that truck was 15 grand less.
Well, I've got the advantage of doing something pretty smart is we keep our cars forever and we buy Toyotas. And like my 2015 still worth 25,000.
Yeah,
So that's 60.
value.
Yeah. So that's 65,000. But the thing about it is it's opportunity. It's opportunity for me to invest in my future. I am 2 years and 4 months away from retirement. And that might mean the difference between going to see Venice, Italy or driving a nice truck.
Yep.
And listen, here's that wisdom thing. Stuff don't matter. Your family, your friends, your experiences. We just got off of 9 days on a catamaran. Like I turned 50 and I got to set up. They chose me. He's like, here's the world, Ryan. You can go anywhere in the world that you want. We don't care what it costs. You only turn 50. We're debt free. We got the money anywhere. Italy, London, anywhere. I wanted to go on a catamaran. I've always wanted to go sailing on a catamaran. So long story short, we did it. Didn't care what it cost.
It's all about you said it. That's the title of the podcast, right? It really is all about the experience. This career, this life, it's experience, 100%.
Man, I tell you, it was an experience of a lifetime. Now, there's a lot of things about a catamaran that I didn't realize I wouldn't like. Oh, yeah, I won't even get into how bad the bathroom smells.
I was thinking the bathroom wasn't.
Yeah, you can't flush toilet paper on sailboats, so you have to put a little zip baggie with your used toilet paper in it. That was an experience.
Yeah, see, that's not for me, but that's your experience, right? My experience is Venice, Italy, and a glass of wine.
Well, and we're going there next year.
Nice.
But that's the opportunity cost. Can I go get a $85,000 big Dodge Ram truck? Sure. But then I've got to give up Venice, Italy. And no, it's just not worth it to me because life is about the experiences. Listen, I just turned 50. I'm on the other side of the hill. I might be dead. And here's the grim reality of what you and I do. Cancer kills firefighters, period.
Yeah.
Our life expectancy isn't what most people do as far as like 9 to 5 people. We're not going to live that long. And I don't want to look back in that rear view mirror and regret not doing it. When we went to London last year, there's no way I could have done that London trip at 65 years old, which is a normal retirement age for most people. We were walking 6 to 8 miles a day.
Well, that's why you have to keep doing fitness, Ryan. I want to do that when I'm 65 years old, right?
Well,
but that's a big part of it, right? But it is about this experience. And look, even I can say it here, like we're going to Australia this year to go hang out with Jared and Steve and Fake Maui, right? And I can't wait. But to go to Australia this year was like, yo, boys, there's no Bahamas, Disney, no trip, not even Jersey Shore for a week this year because we're doing this experience. Right. And the build up. I mean, dude, I think we talk about Australia every day in this house. Someone brings something up about Australia. And that's an
so
experience, right?
well. It's
The
so
same
funny.
with FDIC though, but it's an
Yep.
experience. You and I have said this. We said it when we were out there. It's great to go out there and learn and get an education. And fortunately or unfortunately, I've only sat into a few classes when I'm there. But
Right.
that experience has made me a better firefighter, fire officer, podcaster, person, husband, dad, just from all the people I've met. Experience.
I just the thing about it is you're right. And it's about being present in the moment too. I mean, just a blink of an eye, the house collapses, you're dead.
Yeah.
Just a blink of an eye, the driver makes a wrong turn with the engine, rolls over, and you're killed. And it's like you've got to seize that moment and live in that moment, be present. And one of our YouTubers got a tattoo on his foot that says "Be here." Wherever your feet is, be right here. It's the truth. I do. It's like when you're at the fire station, turn your phone off, be at the fire station. But when I'm home, this is hard for me. Turn the phone off and be with your family, because life is so precious. Poof.
That was probably one of the best things that I ever did was turning it off. You know, same thing when I'm at work. Listen, I'm Tracy's husband and I'm Fanny and Declan's dad, just like I'm a New Brunswick fire captain whenever, all the time. But there's a difference, right? And it's something even trying to tell the young guys at work, like, don't bring that here and don't bring this home. There's always going to be cross-pollination. There's just no doubt about it. But really think about what it is when you're here and what it is when you're not. And that's a big part, too, when you talk about your spouse and sort of explaining that. Like, look, if you need me, I'm always going to be here. But remember, there's just some things that when I'm here, I'm in a different mindset. I'm a different person. And especially, I think, throughout your career in the promotions, you know, when it really responsibility goes up, it's even harder to handle some of the outside things and vice versa. Same as becoming a parent.
Yeah. The thing about it is you've got to mitigate your emotions and your responses to it. That's like hard. That. Yeah, the thing, where did the wisdom come from? It's so funny though, because I was counseling somebody the other day and I was like, who in the holy crap is this guy talking right now? Because this is not Ryan. I'd have been Rick. Step outside. You're either taking one or getting one. Somebody's getting whooped right here, right now. But it's just so not worth it.
Yeah.
It is so not worth it. So you have a difference of opinion. You've got this, that, or the other. Don't care. I still care about you. I still care about the mission, and we can disagree with it. And maybe you try your way, and if it works, maybe I was wrong. But when it don't work, maybe I was right.
Yeah.
The only thing you can control is your response to the situation. Period. And here's the thing: you've got so many things to work on as you as a person. Whether you're a firefighter, fire officer, fire chief, whether you're a husband, sister, brother, go just work on yourself.
It's the best part of my day is working on myself. I feel like, right? And I get to do it in my gym. Like when this is over, I have a little bit of admin stuff to do, let's say. But I know I got to get my workout in before Declan's dentist appointment this afternoon. Like it's happening. And that, again, is my me time, right? Like, and it's been and discovering that. And sometimes I get lost in it too, where it's not my me time, but it's not always 100%. But that me time is so important to keep me in the middle, right?
Don't let people steal your joy.
Yeah.
Don't let them. They're not worth it. And I think this is going to sound really conceited, and this is probably going to come back to bite me. So when these words come out of my mouth,
nobody listens to this podcast at this point. We're in 42 minutes. Everybody's already tuned us out.
This person that's ruining your day is not worth your time.
No.
If they're not supporting your family, your mission, or your function, blow them off. Go. This is my new favorite term. Go pound sand. Don't care.
That is so old school New Jersey. Go pound. It's go pound.
Go
salt.
pound. Oh no,
go pound salt in New Jersey. So
yeah. So you know that I love my New Jersey folks, and every time I was back when I was so emotional and everything, I'd call my New Jersey friends. They're like, "Hey Ryan, you want me to mix the concrete or do you want to get the fences? Because I'm going to do both." But they're so not worth it. They really are so not worth your time.
Nothing is. Like nothing negative. And this whole podcast is revolving around this concept of aggressively positive and the kill the negativity beast, right? But nothing is. And listen, it's not saying that when I hang up with you here, I can't get caught up in something negative.
Sure.
Or on Saturday at the firehouse, I can't get caught up because we all can. It's just a matter of how you move forward with it. because you see these folks that are just negative, 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 and they're living in that fake, right? That just like, oh no, I'm the best, and I'm this or I'm that, and
You're not the best.
you're not.
You're
Like,
not the best.
I'm
You're
not
not
the
that
best.
good.
I know I'm not the
No,
best. I'm not that good.
you're
right? You're
not.
not that good. We're both
No.
out here trying all the time. That's what we consistently keep doing.
The thing about it is you're not the best. There's always somebody better. There's always somebody faster. If you think you can go whip up on everybody or somebody's going to whip your butt, the thing about it is be the person that supports the mission of either faith, fire, family, or whatever you are. Somebody was talking that my super stud fireman this morning, he was walking down the hose. Who's going to carry the boats? And I'm like, and I was like, oh yeah, let's wake him up, boy. Let's go. But he's right. Who's going to carry the boat?
You don't have a good line, right?
It
Because
is.
it could mean, you can take it so many different ways. It could mean so many different things. And, you know, for me, when I hear it, because Finn, that's a big Finn line when we're working out. But like when I hear someone, like you'll say, like, if there's a fireman rolling out hose and he's saying that, I'm just in my head like smirking, because then I'm thinking, am I not carrying the boat right now? Or are you not carrying the boat? He's carrying the boat, because you can't just say it unless you're carrying the boat, right? Or doing whatever you're doing. But when you just hear that down the ride, I'm like, let's go. That just gets me going.
Get out of the recliner. Make yourself a better husband, wife, whatever you're doing.
Spouse. It's a spouse on both sides.
Whatever. Even if you're not a spouse, even if you're an uncle.
Anything,
I'm a pappy. I mean, for gosh sakes, I'm on a podcast wearing cat earphones right now. Humility is everything. Humility is everything. Empathy is everything. Understand where people are coming from and support them. I listen, I don't even want to get into the suicide and alcohol and drug abuse in our culture, or not culture, but our profession right now. It's rampant. It's rampant.
It's not even right now. It's always been.
It's always
we are
been.
now facing it.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping, you know, in our short time left
it
here
gets fixed.
It's never going to be fixed. It's a problem, right? But it's better. And I do feel like the fact that more people are facing it, more people are talking about it. You know, you're including in probationary classes, you know, it's not just, hey, don't drink after work or while you're at work or whatever. They're really getting into it and getting into the stigma and the reasons why is a bigger part of it, right? So hopefully we'll see it getting better. But I think that, like, that's it. Talking about these things and being in the moment is so important.
Yeah, it's all comes down to personal responsibility. Take responsibility for your person. You're the only person you can control. And let's just make, I hate to say the fire station, let's make the world a better place. I mean,
cliche,
really?
But it's right? If you can just leave it better than you found it, right? That's the easiest, that's the best fire.
See, the thing about that is
rule.
that's where I'm at right now. I don't have no more personal ambitions. I'm not taking another promotional test. I'm not going to go retire from Charleston to go to work for another fire department. I'm unemployable. Here, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not employable.
I don't want to put turnout gear on anymore. I don't want to put an air pack on. I don't want to teach anymore.
I don't want to work for someone else. Yeah. I'm going to work for Ryan Incorporated, right? I'm going to go sell fire gloves. That's what I'm going to do. And if I don't want to sell fire gloves anymore, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ride a sailboat. But the thing about it is during that process, who can we support to replace us? Because I'm telling you what, one thing I have realized is that when I leave engine company number 8 on the B shift as a captain, if I were to fall over dead today from a heart attack for trying to keep up with 20-some-year-olds climbing stairs, tomorrow there will be another captain there.
Sure.
And then when that person goes, there's another one, and there's another one, and another one. So while you're there, make it better, make your people better, because you never know. I'm in the spot of my probationary captain some 18 years later.
Gotcha.
So my probationary captain was a B shift captain. Well, guess what? That's me now. Here in 2 years and 4 months, it's going to be somebody else. So while you're here, make it worthwhile.
And the wheel keeps rolling, man. That's such a big part. Whether you're on it or not, that wheel is still rolling. And I want to be able to get off the wheel when I'm ready to go, you know, like at my own terms, and just walk away and let that wheel keep turning, and then come back and visit and be like, oh, hey, the wheel's still turning. Look, the door still doesn't open.
Yeah. Those Dogtown shirts that we finally got made up that we probably pushed past the chief. Yeah. I'm going to take credit for that. We leaned on the chief to get our Dogtown shirts. We got them. We just starting to build that company pride and that succession, and things are going to change, and that's okay. Put your stamp on it. I mean, put your stamp on it. I'm okay wearing pink earphones, and I like this. It's like,
It
but you
scares
might
me
not
when I
be.
think our stamp could be things like this, though. These conversations that we've put out there
Mm,
forever now, and I'm still going back to you podcasting in 2009 because I don't even think I knew what a podcast was in 2009. So,
yeah. Well, the thing about it is the whole world, and not just the fire service, is loud. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a training company. Everyone wants to get their slice of the pie. And at one point in time, I probably was like that. I wanted to be on FDIC stage. I did. I wanted to be someone of influence. And now, the only thing I care about is getting to the finish line healthy and supporting the people around me. I mean, like, I got a call the other day from a guy down south. He's like, man, the volunteer fire stations asked me to step up and be the fire chief. I'm like, oh, wow. Hope you're ready for that one. Here's the opportunity cost. But it's cool to see him get that opportunity. And to think that I've had a little bit of even just a little bit of direction along the way, that's where my satisfaction comes from.
yeah, and you'll always have that, right? You
Mm,
should, again, because of that aggressively positive attitude. Like, I'm happy when people are like, hey, what's it like running a podcast? Or what's it like running a not
right.
for profit? Or what's it like, whatever, selling A, B,
Ca-
or C, that
Careful
you've
what you
sold?
wish for.
Yeah.
Careful what you wish
Well,
for.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, run away. First
Yeah.
question, I want to start a not for profit. Don't. That's my answer. Don't.
Right. Well,
Not to be negative because I'm not, but it's the reality of the situation. I'm not gonna lie to you and be like it's popcorns and unicorns the whole way through here. Like, yes, FDIC is a great time, but it is a lot of work to get there, and it is even more work when you're there to
it's
make sure
hard.
that you're doing it right.
It's hard to stay there. I
Yeah.
can't believe I had a 9-year run of teaching there. 9 years. And I'm sure that I could have continued it because I really do like what Chief Rhodes is doing. But when Bobby died, I was ready to turn the page. I was ready to turn the page.
Which is a big part of all this, right? Like, when are you ready to turn the page?
Now,
Like, and it
right
doesn't mean you
now.
can't come back. Like, I know you're
No.
bringing jump seat views back a little bit in one way, shape, or form, possibly, possibly not. You'd have to get some paint and new headphones, but you can always do that too, right? Like, they always say you can't go back, and look, there are some things you can't go back to, but you can always turn the page and do something different that keeps you going. Keeping that cup filled.
Oh, and that's the really probably the fill in your cup probably ought to be all of this is because and you need to mitigate where your cup's being filled from. So it should be family, faith, fire, God first, family first, and then fire first. Or that's Finn's Broadway career first. I mean, the thing about that is it might change. Finn might not like Broadway anymore.
Sure.
Declan might actually pick up football. You never know. But always make sure that you're getting your priorities lined out and
Yeah.
your
And
faith and family comes first. Period. Dot.
I mean, listen, I'll go against the whole world out there. It's just family first for me. There's nothing more important to me than these people that live in this little house we have here in Allentown, New Jersey, not PA, right? And you said it. Like, I may, depending on what my two little pips do in this next little phase of their life here, big phase of their life, this whole thing may shut down tomorrow because I'm there for them. And I
Yep.
don't have this time, and the same with even with Tracy and where she's kind of going in her medicine way out there. Like, look, this may not work anymore. I may be the back supporting cast for all this. But
Pip told me he was going to become the Uber driver, the travel agent, and carry her bags. I'm like, now that sounds like a job
that's a good
for
job right
me.
there. That's a good
Heck
job, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, come on, you go, girl. Let's go.
Like,
I'll
yeah,
carry your bags.
I carry the bags. That's what I do, man. I go to the conferences with her now. I'm the arm candy. I stand in the back and take the pictures. People are
I
like,
mean,
who's that
come
guy?
on now. What's going to resist and think this ain't some good looking boys right here?
It's so scary. But right, that's what's filling my cup is watching them do it right now. And it's even crazier if you really look back. The boys were too young to know all the different things I was for. I mean, they know now because I've told stories and they've seen things.
Right.
But I was fortunate in that time frame, and I may be fortunate again. Who knows? But you have to be prepared for that. I think that's something to our career does for us. It just there's so much unknown. It prepares you for that next phase and to
I just
pivot.
want to know if you have the Verizon commercial on loop. Do you have that thing on loop, the LA, where you got to go out to LA and be a superstar, and you and Katy Perry were hanging out? That's
Yeah, me and
right.
Katy Perry were hanging out. Her picture was on the wall, though. That is the truth. But no, it's not. It's definitely actually. Someone just asked me for the link for it maybe like a week or two ago, because somehow someone was like, "No way that Pip was on a Verizon wireless commercial," and I'm like, "Yes, here's the link. It's still out there." But those experiences, man, that just made me, I don't know, made me better. For like it helped fill my cup,
I think
and
it makes you appreciate things more.
very much
Like,
so.
I'm so appreciative that people follow along with my social media journey. I'm so appreciative that people ask about, hey, how's your grandbabies doing?
We didn't even
I'm
talk
so
about them. My favorite time calling Ryan is when it's Pappy Ryan, who's not now
happy time.
because their
They
girls went to
started school.
school. I feel for you,
Yep.
man, because so everyone listening, Ryan was Pappy daycare for the past couple years for his two granddaughters.
5 years.
It was that long.
Yep.
And it was great because some days I'd call and he's like, "Oh, the baby's kind of sleeping on me, so I got to be quiet. But what do you need?" Or then he'd be yelling like, "No, we're not gonna paint the dog. I gotta go," type thing. And it was the best. Such fun conversations when the girls
Yeah.
were around.
I've got two grandchildren. They call me the pappy, which it was hard to even get used to that. But one of them's going to be a doctor because the other one's going to need it. One's Wreck-It Ralph. They're both girls, and we have had an absolute blast. And it's kind of sad to see them go now.
Yeah, of
So,
course
but
you
it's
are.
yeah. So now, but I mean, I do get my life back. So now I get to do other things, and it's probably more preparing me for the end of the fire service, of the daily fire service stuff. I mean, we'll probably always have a voice in the fire service. Or at least I hope we do, as long as people keep listening to the podcast and following the social media. But
And
it's
buying
definitely
gloves.
and buying gloves. Oh yeah, speaking of which, look at here. Look at how good them thing. Ooh.
Oh, that's a tester. Is that a test? Looks like a tester.
I'm,
It looks like a tester. If you're watching on YouTube and you're interested in Vanguard products, that is not the current marketed glove that I see out there. So
It
I
is
noticed
not.
the difference.
There is a difference. They're wildland gloves.
Don't need those here.
Don't need those here. But I mean, it's just such all. I don't know. I don't know. I am so thankful for Vanguard. I'm so thankful for our friendship. I'm so thankful that I can know so many guys in New Jersey that like to mix concrete. I think that I'm so thankful for all of it. And it's just, I don't know. My cup has been full. I'm ready. I'm already working on the rain barrel. I'm so full.
I
I
feel
mean,
you. And that next chapter, right? Like it's
mm,
not what is that saying? Like it's not goodbye, it's see you later type thing. Like I
yeah.
feel like that's what it is for at least the way that I'm looking at doing it. And I think you're in the same boat. We've talked enough about it. Like figure out
I,
what's next, man.
I'm ready to get in the battalion chief. I am ready to get to the battalion chief. And I'd like to think that I could, and people ask me, so I was talking one day and one of my one of my good friend, gooder friends on the job was like, Ryan, you're doing it. I'm like, what? He's like, you're wearing them down. I'm like, what do you mean you're wearing it down? He's like, you're starting to get some changes moved to what you think. It's because you don't ever stop. And I'm like, no, I don't. I mean, because think about it is I am who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. I might change my approach, but some of the things that I've brought that I feel passionate about, I don't stop. Don't care about your opinion. I don't care if you like me. You're like, people don't like you around here. This is my care face.
It's not the first time I've heard that line.
No, don't care. And then I had another guy that swing into my station. He's like, you know what? It's really nice down here. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, people say this, 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 and this. I'm like, well, until you step in these stations in this wall, you're never going to know what it's really like.
Isn't that the
So
best when you get someone that rolls through and they're like, man, it's really not that bad over here.
yeah, they're
At
like,
least people talk about it. I'm like, oh,
yeah, it's like, I really like coming down here. And I was like, well, I really like having you here. And he's like, this is actually really good. I'm like, well, that's the environment I want to work. I don't want to go work in a bad environment. I don't.
it's so horrible. Like,
No,
so
no,
horrible.
it is. And the thing about it is that is the one thing that I can say, the jump seat perspective that I have now is that all those times when I was miserable, that I couldn't change nothing, just wait until you're the officer because you can change everything.
Speaking of being the officer, if you become a battalion, would the podcast title change? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
You call it? You call it a buggy, don't you? Like we call it
Yeah,
the car. Views from the
yeah,
car.
driving
would
the
be for me,
buggy.
but yours would be
Yeah,
like views from the buggy.
I got a feeling that I'm going to be in an office. I've got a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to be a day work chief. because
Good and
I
bad
said,
to it. You
well,
could put views out my window is what it could
yeah,
mean. You know, if
views
you
from
get
the
would you get a window?
yeah, views from the paper cuts.
Yeah.
So I'm the MC of our speaking events most times, and I was sitting beside the mayor last time. She's like, "Why do I not see you more?" I'm like, "Well,
Because I work at a place far, far away, and I want to stay
yeah,
there. Thank
yeah,
you.
because I work in Orchard Manor, and you don't go there." So, but I told her, it's like, if you get one of these guys to retire, you'll probably see me just a whole
I
lot.
was gonna say, yeah, because you need to force someone to retire. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
it's like I keep telling them, it's like, either you retire on your own or you're getting shoved down the stairs. So either which way, your choice. I keep telling them, go home. We'll send your paychecks to you.
Yeah, you don't even have to come here. They have this
Yeah,
thing. It's called direct deposit. Don't
yeah.
worry, it'll be there. I swear.
I don't know, and it's exciting. It's scary. It's the unknown. Can I really change some things? Should I try to change some things? Should I carry the boat or should I try to steer the ship? I just, these are things that all go through your mind that when you're getting ready to progress through life, and that comes with home. I mean, because as of right now, Mrs. Pinkton's going to retire the same day I do. That
Ooh,
means
that's nice.
we're going to be home 24/7 together. Now her and I get along really, really, really well.
So
Does
you're
that
home
change?
24/7 together.
Well, there you
But
go.
again, you prepared for that, right? You know, like it's just preparation. Listen, man, it's been an hour, so I'm not keeping you longer than that because I know you got 8 million things to do, and there's really no. We've been all over the place with our ADDD, HD, fireman, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
What are you gonna plug though? You gonna plug what's coming or the
Man,
gloves?
for right now,
Or
check out
nothing?
Vanguard. Check out Vanguard Safety Wear. We celebrated the Michael Kiefer Fund yesterday with an awesome video that they did with Carrie Kiefer, Viverito. I'm super proud of the little company that we've started, and it's not so little anymore.
I was thinking that it's not very little anymore.
It's not little anymore. It's so funny that it's your OG. I thank you for support of Vanguard, and we thank everyone out there who does it. As far as Ryan goes, so my mastermind friend along the way may work for the CEO of Sims You Share. And he has been on my hind end. He's like, now that you're not Pappy, you need to bring back Ryan and what you offered the world. So I had a text this morning that said something like, get off your butt, go do work, or something like that. So what I get into, I don't know.
This could be the return right here.
It might be. I really do like podcasting. I'm going to have to fix the studio.
I think you just run with it, man. Who cares?
I'm not feeling the horns here. I maybe paint them red, turn them into horns. Who knows? Just keep an eye out. I'm going to start working with my good friend Peter Matthews with Firehouse again. I do miss doing that. I have started writing again, and who knows? This microphone probably get fired back up. But thank you for your friendship. Super proud of you and the size up. Thank you for your little container for supplements that you sent me. I use that all the time. And
man, you get another one of those now. I forgot I sent you that one from the group podcast. Now you get a whole new one.
Man,
thank our friend out Lenny at Notorious Fire for the guest gifts. I haven't thanked him in a while, so thanks for reminding me of that.
Those things come in handy.
They do. You can hold anything in there, man. It's great.
Yep.
We have 3 in my house because 3 guests. Declan's like, when am I going to be a guest? I'm like, soon. We'll get there. He did just have a little guest host. He did the size up 10, which is the part we're at now anyway. So
nice.
Look at that. A little plug for my man Declan. But let's go. Just knock these out. So I don't keep
just
you much
keep following along at Ryan E. Pennington, Twitter, Instagram, and Views from the Jump Ceiling Facebook, and we'll see what we get into. Who knows?
TikTok. You're not on TikTok? Come on, man.
Nah, not a TikTok.
Well, I am, but I don't do it. But anyway, size up 10. Here we go. Beach or mountains? Which one?
It's the size up 10. Beach or mountains? Are you kidding me? That's not even. I live in the mountains. I want the beach all day. All day.
Why did I even ask that? A night out or a night in, Ryan?
Night in. Unless it's in Key West, then it's a night out. If you're in Key West, we're going out.
Let's go. Got to get back to Key West next year. Give me a movie everybody needs to see.
Oh my gosh, a movie that everyone needs to see. I'm not a big movie person. I love The Last Samurai. It's my go-to. I could watch it every day. I love it. I love the culture of the samurai. That's my go-to.
I'm a big fan. Did you watch Shogun? That was just on FX.
I did, but I got lost because I had to read it. I don't like reading a show.
There was a lot of subtitles going on in there, and there was a lot of characters, and I'm like, wait, did I just miss something? But I want to watch it again, and I feel like on the rewatch I can get more into it.
I hope so.
It did just win like a whole bunch of awards though for
the cinematography of it is amazing.
Yep, that was definitely worth it. Cross country road trip. Who is your celebrity co-pilot?
My celebrity?
Yeah.
Oh, so like a famous person?
Yeah.
Like give me a level of fame.
Whatever fame
Wait,
you want, man. This is
man,
you. You don't have to make it a famous person. I know who you're going to pick.
yeah.
Though, so
Who's that? Who do you think I'm gonna pick?
I'm going to pick Mrs. Pennington.
Oh, 100% Mrs. Pennington. She's my ride or die. That's
Yeah.
the only person I care about. Because the main thing is she's driving, because I'm not.
Oh, no, you wouldn't be the driver, huh?
No, I am not the driver. I hate driving. I hate. And she's horrible at navigating. So I'm the so when we were in Scotland, my brother-in-law drove on the wrong side of the road, but I was the navigator. And they're like, "You're pretty good at this." It's like, I'm a professional navigator. I tell people to go here, grab that hydrant, and set the truck up there. So I'm the navigator. Yep.
That works. We can go with that as your answer. Do
right.
you make your bed every day, Ryan?
Every day. Every day. At work and at home. No questions asked, because Mrs. Pennington has given that to me, and if it's not made, I'm in big trouble. So my bed is made.
Maybe I should have Mrs. Pennington on the podcast one day, because she seems like a way more
she's so
person
smart. She's so smart. I mean, she is so smart. Oh my gosh.
Someday I'm going to actually meet her. We've never met.
Yeah.
Someday.
We'll see.
How about a book everybody needs to read?
Ooh, Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, the OG book that got all of this stuff started. Crush It.
I have not read his book, but I've obviously a short guy from New Jersey. I do like him. So
yeah, he got me started on all this. So
let's go West Virginia. Which one are you taking, the highways or the back roads?
No, highways all day long. I hate driving.
Except in New Jersey.
I hate driving in New Jersey. All NASCAR drivers should come from New Jersey. They only know one speed. That's wide, i.e. open. And it's all in the fast lane. And they're the most horrible drivers. I thought Ohio drivers were bad. No.
Stay to the right and you'll be fine. Do you know that this year in New Jersey, the state highway sign said camping is for the woods, not the left lane?
So, I'm telling you, New Jersey,
man. Just
get New Jersey drivers. I've never seen my state displayed that many times.
Give me a bucket list place you want to visit that you haven't been to yet.
Ooh, Venice, Italy. But the one I really, really, really want to go is in July for the humpback whale season, and that is Moorea in French Polynesia.
Oh, very nice. I did not know there was a humpback whale season there.
It's one of the only places in the world that you can actually swim with humpback whales.
Interesting. That's a little scary, though, in a way.
Man, I'm so over being scared of the ocean. I just don't even care. If I get eaten by a shark, that's gonna be awesome to tell somebody someday. Being from West Virginia, being out on that catamaran, it's like I've always been nervous about jumping in, whether it's a barracuda or a tarp. I just could care less anymore. I'm in. Nice. If something eats me, I'm halfway where I'm going to end up anyway, because when I die, my ashes will go in the ocean. If I get ate, I will just be there as whale poop.
I cannot believe that you just said that on the podcast.
What's that?
Just that's your plan, not your plan, but that you're okay with that end of it. Like,
yeah, I don't care.
And you've thought about it that much that like you are going there anyway, so why not get eaten by the whale?
Might as well just become whale poop. Earth to ashes, dirt to dirt. Jump in the and somebody
the whale poop.
Yeah. So someone said the other day, if you dump my ashes in the ocean, that if you're anytime that you're near an ocean, you're connected to me because I'm there.
I do like that line. I've heard that one before. All right, two more questions. Football or football? Which one are you watching?
Football. No communist sports. Nope.
Last one. The best advice you could give to your younger self.
Pay off your debt. Get debt free and keep your mouth shut.
It's a big Gary V thing too, by the way. It's debt free. So
dude, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You want to talk about the weight of the world? It's the weight of the world, but keep your mouth shut. You're not that smart, and keep your mouth shut. Listen.
That's a way bigger part. Ears open, mouth shut, right? We say it all the time, but it's so hard to do, especially when you're young.
Even better than that. Okay, I'll even amend mine. You have an opinion, it's great. Keep it to yourself. Because your opinion don't matter.
Everybody listen to that. I need to listen to that sometimes too. So we should all go with that one, except when it's a podcast, because we have.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here,
right?
Yeah, you've listened for an hour and 7 minutes, so that's your takeaway.
Appreciate everyone listening. My friend Ryan, thank you for coming on today, man. Appreciate we finally got a full episode of just us. I'm excited to see what you have in the future, and we've always talked about doing a dual show, so maybe we'll really just start to do that sometime soon. Get it out here a bit more.
Buckle in. It's time for Pip and Ryan's show to begin.
Oh, look at
I like that.
This is why he's so good, and I suck. I have no puns. I have no lines. I have no voice for radio. But thank you all for listening week after week again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Sebi for doing the audio engineering on this to make us sound even better than Ryan already does. And as per the norm, this is Pip for the Size Up by National Fire Radio, where what you do off the job matters.
National Fire Radio.